on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we're gonna make it.
Dionna, hi. We're back for another edition of All Time High. Today, we're going to talk about FTX and all the things that are happening in that space. But the first thing that we do to kick off our episodes, we're going to share where we are from a market cap perspective.
Yes.
So I'm looking at the numbers, and I know it's not showing on the screen yet. We're at 1.96 trillion, which is right at that 2 trillion mark.
Yeah, you're getting there. Your goal is 3, right? You want to see the 3.
That's our commitment to the show, is to get to 3.
2/3 of the way there. I know the big news this weekend was Ethereum hitting over 3,000. Everybody, now for those who don't know, 3,000 was the all-time high for Ethereum back in 2021, right? Was that when it 2020, 2021, somewhere around there?
Right.
There you go.
Oh,
bam. See? Who knows crypto?
Right down, yeah, in April, and it also, boy, look at that.
4,000. Okay, never mind. So then I was way off. So it went to 4,000, right? But
it did, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And what do you give credit to? I would say it's based on the spot ETF potential. You?
Altcoins.
Altcoins. Wait,
Yeah,
it's alt season? Are we in alt season? Nobody told me?
Yeah. You didn't know? It's alt season.
Already.
The most coins are built on Ethereum. They use Ethereum for the gas network. They use Ethereum for their technology. So Ethereum gets the bump as altcoins go. Going into a crypto season, when you start going into a bull market, you start to see more of these coins set up. Therefore, you'll see certain coins like Casper might go up, BNB might go up, Ethereum will go up. I'm sure Ethereum and BNB will. But that is why, because those are the underlying technologies that you need in order to actually put your tokens out.
For sure. And I will say too that, these top coins, I own, candidly, most of them. I do not own BNB, but in the top 10 here, I've got a little bit of everything in the top 8.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how it moves and plays, and some coins move and other coins don't. And at times you want to be in the right place, but it's all about doing the right thing at the right time. Otherwise, if you do the right thing at the wrong time, guess what? That's the wrong thing.
Right. And this is not financial advice, because we are not financial people. This is for entertainment value. We're funny people.
We're funny. We're entertaining. I mean, I'm not funny. You're funny, but sometimes when I'm not funny, I'm at my funniest.
Yeah.
Speaking of doing the right thing at the wrong time, or not being in the right places at the right time, let's take a look at some breaking news that happened in the last week. You and I continue to be fascinated by this. It's your friend and mine, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, wait, did you say right thing at the wrong time or wrong thing at the right time? This was wrong time, wrong thing, wrong, all of it. It was the whole shebang.
For sure. And as I play this clip for us, I want to give credit where credit's due. Tiffany Fong had been following the case, and she went out and did an interview at the location from the jail at MDC Brooklyn, which is where SBF is. And in this, I'm going to play the video. It's a clip. She shares one of the photos that she took. And even though it has a date from the prior year, it actually just got released. Like, she just published it. And it kind of took on a life of its own. Here, let's take a look at the video, okay?
I'll be posting it in the next few days. But he tells me some fun stories, like apparently all of the inmates sat together and watched Michael Lewis's 60 Minutes interview, and apparently they made fun of him for dating Caroline Ellison. So I'm excited to share that, but please be patient with me because I'm really bad at editing things. My intent with posting this photo is not to piss Sam off or make fun of him. He's obviously going through a very hard time right now, but
so I didn't do her any favors by stopping there, but I wanted to zoom out. She set it up. There's a picture of Sam. This is the person that she went in to do the interview with, and the other people that were in the cell block photo. What's your take? What's your bounce on that whole deal? And in a second, we're actually going to show that Michael Lewis interview, a portion of it.
Yeah, I love Tiffany. I love that she's been a go-getter on this. She's kind of, since the start of it, been able to get herself in there and get these exclusives with Sam. I think it's an
Sam's mom.
Yeah.
Sam's, yeah.
Yeah, like she went to his house. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna hang out and Sam and talk to him and see what's going on. And and in one sense, I love Sam's willingness to just kind of be open with people, and in another sense, it's like, well, you should only do that if you're really doing the right thing.
Well, he might have. We've talked about this before. He definitely did the wrong thing at the wrong time. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a double whammy, and
Yep.
that is indeed why he's behind bars right now.
Yeah,
What
for
was
sure.
interesting?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting that, so you look at some of the biggest crypto things, right? And I go back to Russ Ulbricht. I mean, he ran Silk Road. Silk Road was the first use case for Bitcoin. It wasn't a very nice use case for Bitcoin, but it showed the utility of the technology. And he's serving 3 consecutive life sentences in a maximum security prison, having never physically hurt somebody for nonviolent crimes, right? And yet Sam Bankman-Fried is in Brooklyn.
And it seems like to me they're working on a way for that to be a short stay. Now we haven't had, and I don't think we've reached
Don't get me all fired up, Jim. I'm sorry. It's a short stay.
let's backtrack before we get fired up on this.
All right,
And here is a quick clip from that 60 Minutes episode that sets up an interview for Michael Lewis that will show a little bit more. But I wanted you to see the open of it because this is what's interesting to me, the way they are painting the portrait for this particular, and I'm going to say the word criminal because there's no other word that fits what he did in terms of taking monies from consumers.
Yeah.
In his new book out this week, Michael Lewis details the crash and leaves it to readers to decide if Sam Bankman-Fried was a cryptocurrency conman in cargo shorts or a really smart guy, singularly ill-equipped to run and manage a business.
And I'll stop it right there. I mean, what's your take? I mean, the setup of that, like you get to choose, but what you're choosing between is he just a crypto cargo short guy, which gives you this kind of unassuming island mindset, which is where he was, or was he just singularly equipped to not run a business? So, it's like it isn't setting it up as, is it good or bad? It was setting it up as he just not a business person or more of an island person. And when you go that, okay, maybe he just is a tourist, right? Which is ironic because of his influence in the space and what it means to somebody who is a builder to be a tourist. And I just found that to be such a unique choice of words.
If I were to get a job at a hospital as a doctor, right? Wouldn't I have to know what a doctor does and like have that skill set and perform? Like there's these, okay, maybe that's not the best example, but his parents are lawyers, right?
They are.
His parents are compliance lawyers, if I'm not mistaken.
Tax
And
lawyers.
and you went to MIT. So if you're going to assume the role of CEO and you're going to touch other people's money, you owe it to them to know the rules of what you should be doing. It's just the truth of the fact. Like, because of the exact reason that happened. Who's in jail? Caroline Lewis isn't in jail. The VP isn't in jail. Nobody else is in jail but Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's in jail because he was the CEO. So yes, do I think that he was just a dumb kid who didn't know his job? Absolutely. Do I think that he took people's money and spent it when he shouldn't have? Absolutely. Did he commit crimes? Absolutely. Ignorance does not absolve you of criminal acts. Period.
Well,
so it's on him, regardless.
No, yeah, and he's going to serve the time, but I think he's the patsy. So you used that item before where somebody was in a controversial position in terms of he hasn't done that much. I think this entire thing, just the narratives through the mainstream media, the setup of it, and here's where it gets even more rich, not just in terms of their juxtaposition of who he is in the narrative they share, but now what are the odds? What are the odds that Michael Lewis would be embedded with you? I mean, in your organization, watching everything go down. I mean, Michael Lewis, the guy that wrote Moneyball, Michael Lewis, who's written so many great financial books in his time, just happened to be there for this entire thing.
Yeah.
Somehow that seems more than coincidental to me.
I really love this. I love this. You know, I love the conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist per se, but I do like hearing them. And that's an interesting take because we do know that. Okay, so who would have had to? Who has the gain from him being the patsy? That's the question. Like him being lined up to take this fall serves who? Now there's theories that there has been some misconduct through some of the U.S. people.
Well, I'll cut to the chase. It's the donations that went into the political machines, plural.
Yeah.
I won't make it singular because there's no need to identify any one person.
Right.
But then we get to the idea that in the sentencing phase of this, the Department of Justice has dropped the suit against who, from a political perspective, would otherwise be responsible for returning the monies that were donated, if you will, by Sam. And really, if you think about it, I guess that's consumers donating money through FTX to politicians. What?
They didn't donate the money to FTX. They gave FTX money for a service.
Yeah.
They didn't even they were like FTX was just holding their money. It's just like essentially a bank taking all customer funds, donating it to politicians, and then when people come to get their money, they're like, sorry, we don't have your money. We donated all of it to the politicians. Like, to me, it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Insanity.
Yeah,
like if you think about Michael Lewis and Moneyball, and I've read that book probably 5 times. I watched the movie 5 times. I know it like the back of my hand. And he is insightful in how he could miss that aspect of what happened and how this is turning into a personality conversation about Sam Bankman-Fried. And you and I are falling into this trap.
Yep.
Tiffany is falling into this trap. X is falling into this trap. And somehow Michael Lewis, one of the greatest financial writers of our time, falls into this trap too. I'm just not buying it. I think it's too much of a setup. And I'm going to play a clip from him where he talks a little bit about Sam Bankman, and then you and I can take a minute to give our take on his take.
Yeah, perfect.
$1 million. No, it was all Sam's world. And there was nobody there to say, like, don't do that.
FTX purchased a $30 million executive penthouse in the Bahamas resort, flush with an exclusive marina. It was lost on Sam, who worked feverishly in the office and slept on a beanbag chair. But there was another reason he avoided the luxe penthouse. His girlfriend, Caroline Ellison, a former Wall Street trader herself, had kicked him out. Compounding matters, he had put her in charge of running Alameda Research, Bankman-Fried's privately held trading firm. So
he looked like he was working real hard in the office.
But look how they're humanizing him. Look how they're, and this is on the eve of the court case, that the book comes out, that the 60 Minutes run comes down, and they're basically setting him up to be, as the conversation continues, in a romantic relationship. That she too was a Wall Street person who put him in harm's way by doing certain things, and that he was working they use the word feverishly, right? All night, every night. So I'm just like this broad brush of, and Michael Lewis saying it was his world, right? Not Michael Lewis's world, but Sam Bankman-Fried's world. It was Sam's world. It's blowing me away. And so I'm going to endeavor to actually listen to or dive into the book and be a little bit more cognizant of how it played out. But I started to download it on Audible. And what came back to me was that the first 3 chapters are this like romantic episode. Yep. And then you can tell Lewis rushes to get this out by a certain date because he isn't able to put together all the things that happened between November through, I guess they went to trial in February, March.
Yeah, I mean, it's humanize him. He's a human. He is a person. He has a life. He has parents. He had a responsibility. He took people's money. He had a responsibility to be responsible with it. He's a human. He made a mistake. He's getting punished for his mistakes. I don't think being human absolves you from doing wrong. Good people make bad choices and have to suffer really bad consequences because of it. It's life. It's how it goes. Consumer law is there to protect people. It should have been there to protect people before this happened. But the consequences he's going through are to show people you shouldn't be doing this.
I hear you and I agree with you. So first off, well said. I mean, that is the anthem of part of why we're connected and doing this and trying to grow the space to an all-time high, not just financially, but in terms of participation of people, because you can't get there without the people.
Right.
And the shortcuts that you take sometime are impactful. I'm just of the mindset that Michael Lewis, one of the great storytellers of our time, is sitting on the most incredible story of a lifetime, of a generation. Yet somehow he chose to withhold it to make it a narrative about an individual when it's not. It's about the whole financial infrastructure of not just the US, but the world. I mean, this is not a local thing. This was an international company. Obviously, it had US implications. And so as government officials are kind of slowly moving through the re-engineering, on another episode, we talk about how AT&T went down.
Yep.
Are we trying to re-engineer this so that the banks don't go down? Are they too big to fail? And where does Michael Lewis end up with this? Like, is he part of it too? Or is he just doesn't know better? I don't know.
Well, you know, as a storyteller or a journalist or even a person who just likes the news, I appreciate somebody who brings a different perspective, because I don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. I know he's a bad guy. I know he made bad mistakes. Everybody was glued to me. Like, the FTX was like my like OJ Simpson trial. You know what I mean? Like, I was glued to it. I wanted to see what happened. And we've seen that side of it. Everybody's covered that side of it. So for him to come out at a different approach, just like Tucker Carlson, I appreciated that interview. I like to know all sides. Let me hear all the information. Let me decide for myself. I get really frustrated that the media tries to tell us how we should think, and thinking that we're too dumb to make these decisions on our own. So I love that approach. I'm happy he took it.
So that's a great way to kind of close out this episode. Dionna basically advised, do your own research.
Yes,
so whatever you hear from us or anybody else that's talking about anything financial or political or conversational, do your own research, find out to the best of your ability what it is that you believe in, and then sure, take it from there. We don't know your risk. We don't want to give financial advice, but we're just skeptical enough to look at this with the book that came out by Michael Lewis about Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and wonder, wasn't maybe just a little bit more going on? We'll find out in a future episode of All Time High.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got